Okay, so what are we cooking today?
Today we are cooking flank steak, and it's going to be marinated in a beer and Worcestershire sauce. And the rub that we're putting on it is oregano and cumin. The cumin and oregano gets rubbed into it to try to give some spice to it, and then the beer helps bring out some of the sugars. So when we put it on the barbecue, we should get some nice grill marks on it and some caramelization on the top.
How long does it marinate for?
A few hours. Usually the longer the better.
Okay.
One of the tricks that's important also is when we take your piece of flank steak is actually to score it. So you want to put just little slices across the meat so that when we put the rub on it, it gets deeper into the meat.
Okay.
It also helps when we put it on the barbecue where it's going to cook more evenly. So we do this on both sides. Again, here I have a very sharp knife, so it's going down deep without me having to press too much. So it's about a 1/16 of an inch or so.
Okay. So you're basically scoring the meat.
Yep, so we score the meat like this.
Okay.
And then here I've actually put the oregano, the salt, coarse salt, and the cumin in a little pot. I like to prepare my ingredients beforehand. That way you don't get any surprises of missing an ingredient.
Okay.
They're also at hand.
Okay.
So basically each of the pieces, I have 4 pieces that I'm going to be doing today. You basically sprinkle with the oregano cumin mixture. As I said, the salt is in there also, and massage it in, and we'll go through the 4 pieces, and then we'll come back when we add the beer, the Worcestershire, and the green onions. The green onions are just for look, but it's part of the whole meal.
Okay, so how are we doing?
Okay, so we're back. We've put the rub on all the pieces. You see I've done both sides. You can see some of the scoring on it. So again, the oregano, the cumin, and the salt. So what we're going to do now is we're simply going to place them in a pan to marinate. So we put them in. We'll have to move them around so that we make sure that the marinade touches everywhere. We're also at this point adding in some green onions. It's really going to make it look nice when it's barbecued and you have the onions on top of it. It doesn't give a huge amount of flavor, but and the look is very important also. So we put this in here. Add some of the onions. And what we're doing is we're putting in, Worcestershire sauce and a beer, a dark beer. That's where you're going to get some of the caramel taste. So we'll just add this in here.
Wow.
Okay, so again, there's a lot of meat here because I'm cooking for a big group. What we'll need to do is move the meat around, every maybe half hour. You want to go in there and open it up so that the beer and the Worcestershire sauce touches all the meat. So switching the pieces around, the bottom one moving it up onto the top, and so forth, and they'll basically drip into each other.
Okay, and you're going to cover that and put it in the fridge?
So we're going to cover this. We're going to put it in the fridge. We're going to marinate it probably for 3 or 4 hours, and then that's going to go directly onto the grill.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're back. I realized that my pan wasn't big enough, and probably the best way if you want to marinate stuff to make sure that the sauce gets to it is really just to put it in a Ziploc bag. So I've done the first one. I took 2 pieces, put it in here. Becomes easy just to flip it over every half hour. It's marinated. So we've done the same thing with the other 2 pieces. We put them in our Ziploc. Go to the end. We try to take out as much air as possible. And that way the marinade is going to attach to it. So there we go. I'm going to put these in the fridge. That's it for about 3 hours. And every half hour flip them over so that we can get the marinade all over. And then we'll see back. The steaks are still marinating, and we're going to make a salsa, a green salsa to go with the steaks. To make this, we have jalapeno peppers. This is always the most tricky part of a recipe because you never really know how hot they are. So I suggest that you always cut a little piece off and give it a taste, just a tongue, to see how strong it is. These are fairly mild, so we could put more in. And if they're very hot, you adjust appropriately. We have cilantro, we have sweet onions, green onions, and lime juice.
Okay.
It's all we have to put this together. We have a little bit of a challenge. Today I'm cooking from Windermere, BC, at a friend's house. They don't have a food processor to do it, so I'm going to attempt to do this in the blender.
All right.
So basically we just take all the ingredients and throw them into the blender and see what comes out. Again, when you create a sauce like this, or salsa, it's really about the texture. So we have to be a little bit careful about not over processing it, because we don't want to catch up,
Okay.
which is possibly the challenge we're going to have here. So what I might end up doing is doing it in batches, doing a bit and then mixing it into another container.
Okay.
So I'm going to see what I can do here, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're back. Unfortunately, my idea of the blender isn't working. It's creating too much of a liquid.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've decided, okay, my first half that I put in there is enough base liquid, and what I'm going to do is basically chop up manually the rest of the ingredients. And as I mentioned before, it's all about texture, so we just need to make sure that we chop the stuff, to the texture that we want, that we like our salsa to be, and we should be fine. So we'll just add each of the ingredients individually in there, chop up the onions more, and
Okay, so you're not going to blend the rest of the stuff?
no, I'm not going to blend. I'm just going to chop it up into very small pieces of onion. This is a sweet onion, so it's not going to be too hard. So basically that's what I'm going to take the approach. So I'll mix both of them together.
Right.
So I'll have a base that's liquidy. We'll mix with the more solid pieces.
Okay.
And we should have something that's very good. It's going to taste great. It might not look so great.
Okay. And this is going to give the beef a nice, fresh, I guess a little spicy accompaniment?
Yes, it's you should be serving it cold.
Okay.
And the idea is that it freshens up the meat. The meat is very
Rich.
smoky, it's rich,
Yeah.
especially with the beer on it. And this creates something that's light, cool, although spicy on the side.
Great.
It also looks nice on the plate.
Awesome.
Okay, so to go with our steak and add your sauce, we're going to make roasted rosemary potatoes. What we've done is we've taken red potatoes and cut them into fairly uniform chunks. It's about, I won't say that's too uniform, but 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. We've put olive oil and rosemary. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the oven under convection at 400 for the time that it takes for them to get brown. Probably 20 or so minutes, depending on how much moisture you have in your potatoes, is going to affect that. One thing that I found, in order to keep the potatoes from sticking to the pan, is what I'll do is I'll actually put my olive oil, or some of the olive oil, in first into the pan, put the pan in the oven,
Okay.
get it up to the 400 degrees, and then put the potatoes into it.
Okay.
So when the potatoes hit the pan, they seize right away, they don't stick, so it makes it a lot easier to clean up afterwards.
Nice.
Okay?
Okay, great.
Bye. Okay, hi everyone. So we finished marinade. I've taken it out of the Ziploc bags. You can see the scoring, you can see some of the green onions in it. Unfortunately, the marinade that was used, we can't really use for anything else. I've preheated a barbecue. I like really, really hot barbecue, so that it seizes the meat first, and then I'll turn it down and let it sit.
Okay.
But this way we'll get really nice grill marks on it, and we'll have some very good steak. So we're gonna throw these guys on here and cook them. I would say maybe 7 to 10 minutes per side.
Okay, they're pretty thin, aren't they?
Yeah. Again, when you go to the butcher, you'll have different thickness, so you have to adapt your cooking for that. So
looking
put
good.
this on here, and we'll see you in a little while.
Okay, welcome back everyone. So we've cooked the steak on the barbecue. There's some nice grill marks on it. The most important thing with flank steak is how you cut it. You have to cut it against the grain. If you don't cut it against the grain, it's just like eating rubber. So you'll see, if you can take a close up here, you'll actually see the grain of the meat. The meat has, the strands of meat are going this way.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is you want to cut in the opposite. So when you're eating, the strands of meat are very short,
Okay.
which makes it all tender and ready to go.
Not chewy.
Not chewy. If you cut it this way, it's going to be long strands of meat,
Okay.
and it's not going to be very good. And it's in essence almost inedible if you eat it in the other direction. So very critical to make sure you see which way the meat is going before you start cutting it. And this, again, you sort of cut on an angle, cut it nice and thin, and the beauty of this also is the edges are more well done for people who like well done.
Okay.
And as you get into it, it's a little rarer. And friends here like their steak nice and rare, and it's continuing to cook as we go through
those
this.
other pieces sitting in the pan too.
Yeah, so we have four pieces. As I cut this one up, it will continue to cook because I'm going to put it back into the pan, so it will get a little more cooked. Again, the worst thing you can do is have overcooked meat. You can't fix that. You
Yeah.
can fix undercooked, but you can't fix overcooked meat. So I'm going to cut this up, start preparing some dishes, and I'll see you out on the dinner table.
Okay.
Where am I squeezing
Okay,
it
so
here?
here's our end result of our dinner. We have our rosemary potatoes, corn. I didn't go into that detail. We have the flank steak and the aji, and a beautiful environment. We're here with friends and celebrating summer. So again,
Dig
this
in.
is a easy dish to make. Doesn't take very long, and it tastes great.
Awesome.
So we'll see you soon on another
Bon
video.
appetit.
Bon appétit.